Against the backdrop of food scarcity in Nigeria, the world is celebrating National Food Bank Day 2024. The National Food Bank Day, marked on the first Friday of every September, is a reminder to everyone that no one should go to bed hungry and that hunger is a continuing problem in our global community. The Food Day is to honor those workers, volunteers, and food bank charities who work in this regard. Nevertheless, the essence of food banks is to provide food to the poor with the help of volunteers and social workers. They also promote tools for self-sufficiency. Joining us now on the show is Dr. Michael Sunbola, founder and executive director of Lagos Food Bank Initiative. Dr. Sunbola is also a renowned social entrepreneur and the principal partner at Pundit Barristers and Solicitors. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad to be here.
Sunbola, today is the World Food Day, right?
World Food Bank Day.
Food Bank Day.
Yes.
Ah, okay. I said food because I was going to ask you whether you brought food to the studio.
I brought a sample box to see what it looks like.
I'm just joking. Just tell us about the significance of World Food Bank Day and also the initiative in Lagos State. We know the governor has something he calls Unje-Eku. What is the difference between both?
So essentially, the World Food Bank Day, beams the spotlight on the problem of food insecurity in the country and globally, basically, and the critical role that food banks play to address some of these problems. We all know that hunger is a global issue and it's more intense, I would say kind of in most developing countries and especially Nigeria. And it's not new that interventions like that addresses both short-term and long-term solutions should be encouraged, and that is where food banks come in. So food bank warehouses food and redirect them to vulnerable population and leverage it on collaborative partnership with the private sector, the players in the food value chain, and then also the government to help address the problem, immediate problem, and of course long-term problem of food insecurity. So what the Lagos State government is doing, with the Unje-Eku thing, is more or less like also making food accessible to people at a very subsidized rate. And the difference between ours and what the Lagos State government is doing is that ours doesn't come at any cost. It leverages on partnership that foots those costs, and then we give it to the most vulnerable members of the population, free of charge. And we believe that with this, we are not just addressing this immediate need, but also curbing food waste. A whole lot of food go to waste. A number of food that is still very edible, though approaching maybe expiration, but still very edible and cannot be sold in the market, usually get trashed. And with the food bank in place, such food can be donated to the food bank and we're able to distribute before the expiration and it's still very edible. So we come in that gap, and that's why we don't sell food. We target very vulnerable population. And this solution is very well known globally.
In other words, you're saying what we give to the vulnerable persons in society are food items, given out by the manufacturers that are about to expire.
No,
the items must be consumed immediately.
Exactly. So the thing is part of it, part of the donations we get, right? We also get donations that are also that have very longer shelf life. And then we get donations from individuals as well, who just out of their own philanthropic gesture want to donate, right? But curbing food waste is one. Also recovering food that goes to waste at the post-harvest level as well. We also do agricultural recovery program. We recover these foods, and also at least, instead of those food going to waste because of maybe lack of cold chain and the rest of it, we pick this food from the hinterlands and bring it to where people need it most, because we know that a whole lot of our population can't afford the diet, and that's where, this food bank solution is highly crucial to the entire chain, the entire food value chain, but not much spotlight is on it to address this problem, basically.
Okay, I thank you so much. I think it's important to distinguish that you're not a government agency. It's an NGO that is run by volunteers. So
Yes.
these are just well-meaning Nigerians who've come together to try and meet the food gap. According to World Bank, about 24.6 million people in Nigeria who are hungry.
Exactly.
All right. So just to ask you that you've fed 2 million people in Lagos. Can we use that model? Because what people have been calling on the government is an initiative like this, so that the most vulnerable in Nigeria would also have food to eat in light of current economic realities. So you must have a way that you gauge where to go to, how you disperse this, the amount of money. I see on your web, you've had millions of dollars in donation that you've had to spend, the transparency. How do you run this, and what are lessons that, I mean, subnationals can learn from you who want to replicate this in their states? Okay,
very well. So it's the food bank is private driven and 100% private sector driven. And we have a lot of young people as well, more than 26,000 volunteers registered on our database that help us with this intervention across Lagos and outside Lagos as well. So what it means is that because our resources are still very meager, we had to we have this field team that identify very vulnerable population. And what we do, when we identify them, we look at their income, what is their income like. Some earn like about 5,000 naira in a month. So we have several indices that we use to identify these people. Having identified them, we register them and give them a voucher. So we also give them a card with their picture, and then their identity matches the name and everything. So we have all those back-end processes that we do to identify very vulnerable population. Having done that, we then tell them when they should come and pick up their food at the warehouse, or we go to their community and also give them a date. So warehouse model, community model, but and I think one thing that we should also bear in mind is the fact that this program addresses immediate needs and also long-term needs. The problem of hunger in Nigeria is multifaceted. Our own approach is also multifaceted in the sense that we also empower women to start a backyard farm. And when they start this backyard farm, they are able to feed themselves and also sell part of it. And we've done this across several households, right? We address food waste as well. We help farmers to direct this. I mentioned that earlier. And then the problem of malnutrition is also very, huge. We have a program that targets malnourished children, and we partner with PHCs, primary healthcare centers. PHCs are not empowered to give food directly to vulnerable people. Right? They are not supposed to give out food. They just attend to their. So we've partnered with them. They send those malnourished kids to us. We put them on a plan for 2-3 months, and the babies are out of that state of malnutrition. We've done thousands of children, right, in terms of our intervention. So what I think all that subnationals can learn from this is a very sustainable model that leverages on collaborative partnerships. And the private sector is very crucial to the success of this program. Right, and while people are going bonkers to having access to food and not being able to afford food, right, solutions like this has worked in the United States. We have the SNAP program. We have over 2,000 food banks in the US. Let's make it work, right? And this is a working model that we can replicate.
Glad you're talking about the United States, for example, because of course we know that locally we have a number of nuances that are a little different to the rest of the world. What we've come to know now as palliatives, unfortunately, is kind of starting to gain a negative context. When I saw, the boxes that we're seeing, they're very attractive, beautiful. Immediately I thought to myself, unfortunately, because this is what we've seen happen over and over again, this looks like something that somebody would very happily and easily turn into a business. Mm-hmm. Come and receive those boxes and just forward them on to somebody else at a profit. How are you managing some of those nuances that happen at the grassroots level in our context?
Yes, very well. So it's something that we are very intentional about, because knowing that even our volunteers who are Nigerians, we're all Nigerian, we all need this food, right? But we must identify those that truly need them. And then we have a process that checkmates anybody that wants to play a very be funny in terms of having to collect twice or not being honest. So there's a card system. There is, we use Excel sheets. We use, you don't just come and say that I need food, give me food. No. it is all tracked all the way down to those, and then maybe in a community, someone can have food like 4 times in a year, right? And we track it. Because we are dealing with thousands and millions of people, right? Some communities, we work in about 172 communities, and a community might just be visited like twice in a year because the resources are still mega. So in the midst of such little resources that we have to work with, people can't afford to cheat us in this because we don't get it in excess, right? So, and to address that issue of how we're able to manage transparency, our funds, and the rest of it, we've built this credibility across. And if you ask for Lagos Food Bank, they know us. We put out our audited financial statement. We are very transparent to the letter, to the core, right? And it's always published for people to see how we spend expenses and annual reports and the rest of it. If you want to check that up last year, you see that.
The long-term challenge
is
what government does to resolve food insecurity in Nigeria.
Okay.
Efforts such as yours, just
to
help on the sideline. There must be a bigger program of addressing food insecurity. But today is World Food Bank Day. What is the program? Is there any special program to mark today in Nigeria?
So as we speak,
like maybe there will be jollof rice in some parts of the
as is more advanced. Like so, currently as we speak, there are more than 20 non-profit organizations. I think about 13 of them at the food bank warehouse as we speak. They are coming to pick up food items to go serve their communities. And the program starts for, I think, 10 o'clock as we speak. And these non-profit organizations, we also collaborate with them. They pick up food from our warehouse, free of charge. They go distribute them in their own community. And that is what we are doing today to mark this program.
So how do you track delivery?
Delivery to the
people. Because
they send reports. Our back end is very strong. Like we are a team of more than 26,000 volunteers, and even in our food bank, more than 35 employees. So everybody have roles, the specific roles. Some their job is to track where this food goes. Like the way people follow the money, we follow the food, right? To where it's supposed. They send reports, right? If we partner with you once and you are not credible, we are not partnering with you again. So we have all of this in place. Like I said, our resources are so meager. We can't afford to not be accountable with it. So, and we of course are still calling on more partnerships because we have something that works, that is replicable, that has been around for more than 8 years, right? And why can't we make this work? Why reinvent the wheel? Why can't we just have this replicated? And because it addresses both short term, long term, and on a day like this day is actually meant to encourage more partnerships, encourage more people to partner, encourage more people to volunteer, encourage more people to actually donate, basically. And that is the essence of the World Food Bank Day. The first food bank started in 1967 in Phoenix in the US, and you can see how far they've come. Yeah.
Well,
he's just coming up.
On that note, Dr. Michael Sunbola, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.